Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, starseed astrologer and spiritual messenger from sacredsoulempowerment.com. Here to do your monthly angel card reading for February 2020. For this month's monthly reading, we'll be using the Syrian Starseed Tarot by Patricia Corey and Alyssa Bartha for the main message for everyone. And your special message card this month, depending on your stone of choice, will be coming from the Romance Angels Divination deck by Radley Valentine. So just a reminder that myself and a wonderful friend of mine from the East Coast, her name is Kathy Munson, she's a psychic medium. We have, just as of January 2020, started our new spiritual podcast, a monthly podcast, talking about all different kinds of metaphysical and spiritual topics. So if you would like to start watching our monthly podcast, please visit us at Empowered Voices. That's a Facebook page called Empowered Voices and our YouTube channel under the same name, Empowered Voices. And you can also email us with any questions or thoughts or comments or ideas of what you would like to hear us talk about in future podcasts at empoweredvoices11@gmail.com. And that's the number 11, empoweredvoices11@gmail.com. So we would love to have you join us and give us your feedback on that. So let's get back to the monthly reading, and I guess the first thing we need to do is look at your stones of choice for your special message card this month. Your first stone of choice, and of course it's February, right? So this is the month of Valentine's Day if you're here in the United States, and probably other countries across the world look at that as well, or also celebrate that in different ways. So we have hearts here for you, and this is a selenite heart as your first stones of choice. Now, selenite is a higher vibrational stone, and with me, it really vibrates to that crown chakra energy, that opening up and awakening to higher vibrational energies or divine messages. So, speaking about relationships, again, Valentine's Day, and even when we talk about the monthly vibration for the month of February, it does in fact have to do somewhat with relationship matters. So, when we look at the selenite, we can say if you are needing some sort of divine guidance into your relationships this month, and that can be a romantic relationship, business relationship, career-oriented, family, friend, it doesn't really matter. But if you need some sort of higher guidance or divine guidance into your relationships, then the selenite, opening up that crown chakra and downloading that higher vibrational information, may in fact be the stone of choice for you. Okay, your second stone of choice, or your second heart of choice, is a beautiful rose quartz heart. And the rose quartz, of course, relates to the heart chakra, right? It's a very soft, nurturing, unconditionally loving, mothering almost kind of energy. And really it has to be first with ourselves, right? We have to unconditionally love ourselves, nurture ourselves, and then we can proceed to love and nurture unconditionally those around us. But if we're seeking in this month of February some sort of healing in regards to relationship matters, because this is a nice heart chakra healing stone, so the healing of some sort of relationship in your life, or the nurturing of your own self, and in that's a healing for you, right? So if you're needing to heal your own heart chakra wounds, then perhaps this is the stone of choice for you this month. And then your last heart of choice is, let's see if I can pick it up here, this beautiful chrysocolla heart. Now, chrysocolla is a beautiful turquoise bluish green color, almost does remind us of turquoise. And so with the green, with the blue, we're dealing with throat chakra, heart chakra here, and, you know, focusing more on the throat chakra here in regards to the chrysocolla energy. And this has a very soothing feel to it too. So if emotionally you've been dealing with a lot, frustration or upsetness or even depression, this can help to soothe the emotions or calm the emotions down with these colors, the blue and the green. But relating to the throat chakra, what I would like to say as far as this being your possible stone of choice is that if you're needing to speak your truth in a relationship this month, again, romantic, career, friendship, it doesn't matter, family, if you're needing to speak your truth authentically, but yet with compassion and love, then this perhaps is the stone of choice for you. Okay, so again, we have the selenite heart, the rose quartz heart, or the chrysocolla heart as far as your special message card later on. So let's start by talking about the numerological vibration for the month of February. Now, I have to say that as opposed to January's energy, it's going to calm down, or at least that's what I'm perceiving, is that it's going to calm down and balance out a bit from what it was in January. Of course, in January, astrologically, we had a full moon lunar eclipse. We had Pluto conjunct Saturn, and just the vibration numerologically of January was such that it was full of some ups and downs and chaotic energy and changes and redirections. So the backdrop of how we have to look at the numerology of the month is by what is the numerology vibration, universally speaking, for the collective in the month of 2020. So we have 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0, and that equals a 4. And we talked about that just a little bit in the January monthly reading, of that being an energy of stability, security, focus, groundedness, organization, a number of building something, restructuring something. It relates to the Emperor card, which is about taking charge of one's life, or being in charge basically of your own feelings, thoughts, actions, emotions, etc. And really kind of grounding it into reality to create a sense of security or stability in your life. Now, with that in mind, again, we have to look at the 2s within 2020, because again, this is the universal backdrop for us collectively for the year. And the 2 is about balance and relationships, alliances, partnerships of all kinds, balance, harmony, intuition, all of these things that are very divine feminine in nature, whereas that 4 of 2020 added up is very divine masculine. So when we looked at the month of January, universally speaking, as far as the vibration, it was a month of change and redirection within a year of stability and security, reorganization and restructuring. So you can imagine that when you put the energies overall of restructuring one's life, but then you have this change and almost like an upheaval sort of energy, it can get a little chaotic. And that's what we felt in January. When we go into the month of February, we are now adding that 2020 universal vibration of the number 4 to the number 2, which February is the second month of the year. Okay, so we have 4 plus 2, and that equals a 6. So this is where the energy becomes a little bit more balanced out. That number 6, numerologically speaking, deals a little bit more with the balance of the masculine and the feminine energies. It deals with the balance of our inner world and what's going on an inner level for us, as opposed to balancing that with the outer world, or what's going on outside of us and around us. It has that as above, so below kind of energy to it. The number 6, if you take an upward pointing triangle and you intersect it with a downward pointing triangle to give a 6-sided star configuration, that is what the number 6, geometrically speaking, is about. So again, as above, so below. As we balance the outer life, we're balancing the inner life, and as we're balancing the inner life, we're balancing the outer life. We're balancing the masculine, we're balancing the feminine. The number 6 numerologically is also about home and family matters. So we're also balancing what's going on a home and family level with what's going on in our career path, life path, destiny path, which is opposite of home and family. And this is a little bit of astrological knowledge in with this, because you know the 4th house of the, which by the way, the 4th house cusp is ruled by Cancer in the zodiac. This is where we had our full moon lunar eclipse on January 10th. And our solar eclipse that we had on Christmas Day of 2019, December 25th, 2019, was a new moon solar eclipse in Capricorn, which is opposite from Cancer. So that rules the outer world, career path, life path, destiny path, which is why I'm bringing in this idea of balancing home and family matters with career and what's going on in an outer level, balancing our inner world with our outer world, which is what the number 6 is about. The number 6 deals a lot with our emotions and our emotional body, and as well as our responsibilities. So again, you can see the connection with the emotions and the emotional body with home, family, different types of relationships within that home family, close connections, close emotional ties, with that balance of responsibility of the number 6, which is in our career path, our job, our service out in the world, our, who we are on our life path, or what it is that we want to do on our life path. So all of this is going to be brought up more so in this month of February. Now, the 6th major arcana in the tarot is the Lover's card. In the Syrian Starseed Tarot, it looks like this, a beautiful card, and it may just look like a lot of colors, but if you look really closely up here, you can see the man and the woman's face here. And this is like an intertwining of their energies, going all the way down here to the base, coming up through this almost yellow empowerment, the heart chakra green, and then up to the blue of communication. And this is where you can see the faces of the lovers here, intertwining their energies. And with this being the 6th major arcana, this is also a vibration that is taken into account for this month of February, which goes great for, again, Valentine's Day, right? The day of relationships. Now, the Lover's card has more of a meaning than just dealing with romance and romantic partnerships. It is also about the alchemical partnership with the divine. And the divine can be a soulmate, but the divine can also be the universe, God source energy. It's about the alchemical marriage between ourselves and the universe. This is another way to look at the lovers. So this is also part of what's coming into play here as we enter the month where the sun will transition into Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, the sign of spiritual energy and unconditional love and unconditional compassion, and kind of merging with that spiritual energy outside of ourselves, which is really not outside of ourselves, it's really within ourselves. But we look at it as that energy of God outside of us. We're merging with this Piscean energy, okay? And the Lover's card, again, being that symbolic energy of the marriage between ourselves, our higher soul selves, with the universe, to create magic, to merge with the unconditional love of the universe, to merge with that compassion and creative energy, magical energy of the universe. But we can also look at this again as this being about partnerships. And although we think of the lovers as being romantic partnerships, again, this can take into account all types of partnership energies within this month of February. And these are some of the things from a numerological and tarot perspective that we will be experiencing for the month of February. So let's talk a little bit about the astrological highlights of the month. We have a lot of planets that are changing signs for this month, and those planets are the personal planets. In astrology, we have the sun and the moon, which are really not considered planets at all. They're really the lights of astrology, the sun and the moon. And then we have the personal planets of Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And those are the 3 planets, actually, that are changing signs this month. And when we have those personal planets that are faster moving, changing signs within the month or at any point, it creates a change in our immediate environmental circumstances. And this is unlike the generational planets. The generational planets are Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Those are considered also the outer planets. So the outer planets, the generational planets, are very slow moving, and they take many years to move through even a sign of the zodiac. So they are an energy more of the collective energy of what's going on in the collective on the planet at any given point in time. Whereas again, these personal planets with Mercury being about the mind, logic, communications, and with Venus being about relationships, love, finances, money, and all aspects of the divine feminine, and Mars being about aspects of the divine masculine and about action and moving forward and making things happen with your own force of will. These are the personal planets that are going to be changing this month, meaning there's going to be a lot of things, again, changing perhaps or happening in the environment around us, in the circumstances around us regarding, career matters, money matters, relationship matters, our thoughts and ideas and communications, both with ourselves and with other people. So with that being said, let's look at when some of these things might happen, these important astrological transits. On February 3rd, Mercury is moving out of the sign of Aquarius and into the sign of Pisces. Again, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, a sign of completion. It's a sign that rules the spiritual realm. It rules imagination. It rules the intangible. It rules things that are not solid, basically. It rules the ethereal realm. So Mercury being a planet of logic, of the mind, being in an ethereal, imaginative, fantasy-like, romantic energy such as Pisces, it sometimes doesn't do well because Mercury wants facts, it wants logic, it wants things to make sense. The thing that Mercury in Pisces is great for is creative self-expression, or coming up with creative ideas, or communicating about creative projects, or just kind of brainstorming new thoughts and new ideas. That is what Mercury in Pisces can be really great at. Now, Mercury usually spends about 3 weeks or so in a sign. It moves fairly quickly through each sign of the zodiac. However, Mercury is going to be in Pisces until April 11th, 2020, and that's because it's going to go into a retrograde cycle in March. And in fact, during this retrograde cycle in March, it will actually dip back into, for about 12 days, the sign of Aquarius. And while Mercury has been in Aquarius here until the 3rd of February, and while it dips back for those 12 days in March into Aquarius, it's going to become a little bit more humanitarian oriented, a little bit more logical, a little bit more fact oriented or scientifically oriented, but also be a great source of, again, channeling higher vibrational energies, channeling higher vibrational new ideas and thoughts, because Aquarius is very good at that. But now again, the before and after, while Mercury is in the Pisces, there's something being completed, because again, that's the last sign of the zodiac. And a little bit later this month of February, the sun moves into Pisces, which is its typical time of the year for doing so. So we're starting to enter with the Pisces energy, an energy of completion that started about this time, or started actually the springtime of 2019. When we have the sun moving into Aries, and Mercury usually follows closely either before or after the sun in the sign of Aries, that's like the new astrological year. This is where new beginnings on an astrological level happen. So now that we're having these planets, Mercury and later the sun, moving into Pisces, we're completing an energy cycle. And Pisces can be about releasing, letting go, purging, transmuting. It's about endings in a way, because it's the last sign of the zodiac. So there's something coming to an end, whether it be literal and situationally oriented, or whether it be about our own energy, our own belief systems, our own emotional space, so to speak. There's something that's concluding as we move through February and into March a little bit before that cycle is complete. So let's move on to February 7th. This is when Venus is transitioning, and she's transitioning out of Pisces and moving into the first sign of zodiac, Aries. Now, Venus is going to be in Aries from February 7th and through March 5th. And remember, Venus rules love, relationships, money, finances, personal resources, as well as the divine feminine energies of the collective on the planet. Venus in Aries. Aries is fire. Aries is the initiator. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's about take charge leadership. So the divine feminine energies of the collective are going to be stronger now, more independent, more self-sufficient, more take charge. As far as relationships, Venus does naturally rule women, but remember, we all have a feminine and a masculine side, whether you're a man or a woman. But the divine feminine energies of the love, the nurturing, the taking care of is going to be a little bit more strong now, a little bit more independent and take charge, okay? She's going to lead. And women, being ruled by Venus, is going to take more of that role in the collective of the planet as well. As far as money and financial matters, this could be the new beginning of something. A new project could begin, a new idea that later on, perhaps when the sun moves into Aries next month in March, has an initiation or a new beginning in some way, shape, or form. So remember that here over the course of almost a month, while she's in Aries, she's in a much stronger, more confident and self-sufficient space. Now on the 8th and 9th of February is when we have a full moon at 20 degrees of Leo. Leo is a fire sign. It's a sign of creative self-expression. It's a sign of generosity. It's a sign that rules the inner child and having fun and being playful. Leo, though, is also a leadership sign. This is about take charge leadership energy as well. It's about shining our light through our creative self-expression. And this full moon at 20 degrees of Leo on the 8th and 9th is going to be in a positive aspect to Mars. Mars is the planet of energy and action. It's going to be still in Sagittarius during that full moon, which is another fire sign. So there's a lot of fire here, a lot of creative energy that can help things to be pushed forward or to be created on some sort of level, energetically speaking. That full moon also makes a quincunx connection to Pluto and Saturn. Now, that means there's adjustments that have to be made within our source of self-empowerment, which is Pluto, and within our restructuring of events or situations or aspects of ourselves in our lives, because Saturn likes to restructure. Saturn also rules karmic lessons and challenges, so again, there may be some needing to be more aware of something and then adjust for it as we're entering that full moon cycle or period of time. Also, right the day after the full moon, on the 10th of February, Venus comes together with Chiron. So there's some sort of important healing being done here with the Chiron energy. And of course, Venus again ruling women, love, relationships, finances, money, the divine feminine energies on the planet. There's some sort of healing during this whole full moon period taking place. Now, I feel mostly, this full moon energy being very positive, again with the fire sign Leo, which is where the full moon is, fire sign Sagittarius, which is where Mars is. There can be a lot of activity with all that fire energy happening. On the 16th, this is where Mars, the warrior, moves out of Sagittarius and now into the sign of Capricorn. So here's the third personal planet that's actually shifting signs this month. Again, Mars is about energy, action, forward movement, making things happen, okay? And he does so with assertiveness and his force of willpower. He's moving into Capricorn on the 16th, where he'll be until March 30th. And Capricorn rules goals, ambitions, taking things step by step, making a plan. It rules our career path, our life path, and destiny path. So we'll see a lot more forward momentum or forward moving activities after the 16th in the area of our career path, life path, and destiny path. Also on the 16th, when Mars changes signs, Mercury goes into retrograde motion. This is when Mercury starts the retrograde motion on the 16th of February at 12 degrees of Pisces, and will retrograde again all the way back to 28 degrees of Aquarius. It won't go back into Aquarius until March, so we'll talk about that a little bit more next month. But know that as of the beginning of the month, in fact, just a day before Mercury moves into Pisces on the 3rd of February, February 2nd, is when Mercury goes into his shadow. And so we're going to start feeling the effects of the Mercury retrograde with miscommunication, missed appointments, misunderstandings, right at the beginning of the month, okay? And even before, like I said, even before Mercury officially goes retrograde on the 16th, we're going to be feeling that energy come about. On the 18th is when the sun moves into Pisces, okay? And again, the sun, you know, we call it a planet, but it's really a light. But now we have Mercury transitioning into a new sign, Venus, Mars, and then the sun moving into Pisces as of the 18th. So again, a lot of movement of these faster movement planets, which is causing a lot of movement in the exterior of our lives, in the environment around us. Also, on the 21st, Mars is connecting in a positive way with Uranus, the harbinger of change and redirection. Mars is challenging Chiron, the wounded healer, and also on the same day, the 21st, Mars is conjuncting the degree of that the new moon solar eclipse that we had on December 25th of 2019. So if you remember back to that new moon solar eclipse, 2019, December 25th, it activated some sort of new beginning energies that are to be felt until the next set of eclipses this summer. And with Mars being an activator, Mars is an activator planet. He's activating that degree of that solar eclipse, December 25th, 2019, which was at 4 degrees of Capricorn. So because all of these things are happening on the 21st, there's something definitely in the works here. There's something that is very important that's shifting, with the warrior Mars connecting with Chiron, the wounded healer, the warrior Mars connecting with Uranus, harbinger of change and redirection, and connecting with that solar eclipse degree, which is again reactivating that huge redirection, new beginning sort of energy of death and rebirth, endings and new beginnings that started again December 25th, 2019. So pay attention on or around that day for what's happening. And then 2 days later, on the 23rd, we have a new moon. So all of that I previously mentioned is happening during the dark of the moon phase, where a lot of healing on a subconscious level takes place. And then on the 23rd, the new moon at 4 degrees of Pisces occurs. On the same day, Venus is challenging Jupiter, which rules our belief systems, and Jupiter also likes to expand things. And it's a challenging connection with Venus, and so there's something about relationships or something about money regarding our belief systems and how we perceive them and how we see them that is going through some sort of a need for awareness, I guess is the best way to say it. And then at the end of the month, on the 28th, Venus has moved on and is now challenging Pluto, which is about death and rebirth and transformation and change. And so here from the new moon, the 23rd, until the 28th, Venus is doing her thing regarding money and finances, relationships, and love matters, to where there's a huge need for further awareness, a huge need to transform or transcend something. And it might come in the form of some challenging energies. So that's the astrological highlights. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the messages from our angels and guides. And I had 5 cards that came out. When I pulled the first card, it came out as 2. When I pulled the second card, it came out as 2. And then the last card came out by itself. So let's go ahead and take a look at what our messages are here. Let's turn over the first card. And the first card is the Ace of Crystals. This is like the Ace of Pentacles or the Ace of Discs in the traditional tarot. The aces are about new beginnings. The crystal suit is about money, finances, career, life path, destiny path, projects we're working on. It's about the tangible things in life. Okay, so the crystals suit in this deck is dealing with that tangible aspects of life, like the pentacle suit in the traditional tarot. So this could be the beginning of a new source of income, or a new beginning to a new project, or the new beginning in a job or career on some level that is taking place, that's happening. There's a great big huge clear quartz crystal here. So I also feel like there's a new beginning to having a new sense of clarity about something. There's a new clarity that comes in here. And let's go ahead and see what the second card is, the card that came out with this card, because that might shed more light on what this is actually all about. So turning over that card, we have the 3 of Chalices, okay? So again, this is like the 3 of Cups. This is about love, relationships, celebration, feelings, emotions. And the Three of Cups is usually a very good card. It deals with celebration. It deals with good times, having fun, getting together with groups of people or friends. This can be on a romantic level about, good times with your partner and something, again, to celebrate. Sometimes it talks about a marriage or a new birth, some sort of day where we celebrate something. And here we have, again, even though it's an interesting holiday, Valentine's Day, but Valentine's Day is a holiday too, and a lot of times people celebrate one another. We celebrate our relationships and one another, and we've even gone beyond celebrating just the romantic partnerships. We celebrate our friends and we celebrate our family during Valentine's Day, and we just recognize this to be a time of giving and receiving love. So if we put that with the card that came out before it, this is a new beginning on a tangible level, possibly to do with relationships and bringing more joy and happiness and abundance and prosperity into our lives. But this abundance and prosperity with the Three of Cups is usually related to our feelings and emotions and feeling more abundant and joyous and happy in that way. But because it came out with the Ace of Crystals, there could be also some abundance and prosperity of a financial nature, or again, job or career level nature as well. So what a great start here to, the energy for the month. Let's take a look at one of the second cards, one of the two cards that came out as the second card. And turning that over, we have the Two of Chalices, the Two of Cups. And so we've got the Three of Cups, the Two of Cups. Again, this is definitely a month where we're dealing with relationship matters. Now, this is more of friends and groups and loved ones, family. Again, we have 3 cups, and so we have at least 3 people indicated. Now, it doesn't just deal with people, but that's one way to look at those cups. But here we have the Two of Cups, the Two of Chalices. So this is about, the lovers. Here we have the Lover's vibration for the month of February, that 6th Major Arcana, and we also have the Two of Cups coming up. So there's definitely something happening as far as relationships. If you're in a relationship, there's needing, your relationship needs more of a focus. Maybe there's a healing that needs to take place. Maybe there's important communications that are taking place. Maybe there's a deepening of the relationship that's taking place. If you're not in a relationship, maybe this is heavily on your mind, especially since it's the month of Valentine's Day, where we're seeking that connection with another person. We're seeking that love. Remember that, just like this says, that this is about the alchemical marriage of loving yourself and connecting with the divine, connecting with the universe, connecting with source, okay, as well as the significant other. So in this, when you're looking for a partner, if you're single, remember that you have to look for the love deep within yourself first. And as you love yourself and as you nurture yourself and as you respect yourself the way you would want a partner to, then that brings in and attracts the type of soulmate that you really want. So that's just kind of an FYI for those of you that are looking for a significant other. It's like, love yourself, nurture yourself. Take yourself out for Valentine's Day if you don't have a significant other. Buy yourself some flowers or roses. Do something special for yourself. Go to the spa, get a massage. If you're loving yourself, again, this is going to attract that significant other into your life. Again, for those of you in a relationship, do something special, obviously, with your loved one. Take care, talk to them, be authentic with them. Share the challenges as well as the positives. This is what's going to make the relationship deeper. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other card that came out with this card, so we have more of an idea of what maybe this is about. Okay, so now we have another Cups card. This is the Adept of Challenges. The Adept of Challenges is like the Knight of Water or the Knight of Cups in the traditional tarot. So the Knight is a court card. It does deal with, if it's speaking of a person, it deals with somebody very romantic. So this can be about a romantic, poetic, a man who is an emotional or in touch with his feelings and is very much able to express his feelings to you. But notice also here that this is almost like a tidal wave. Sometimes this can be about someone who's overly emotional, who's overly into connected to the emotional body in such a way that it can be almost an immature energy. And that is sort of what the Adept or the Knight it can be, as well as from a court card stance. Because with the court cards, you have the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. The king is obviously the most mature. The queen is just under that as far as with maturity level. And then the knight and then the page is the most immature. When you get a page, oftentimes it might be dealing with childlike energies or actually dealing with children. Pages also deal with messages. But here with the adapter, the knight, it's like graduating a step above the page, but it's still an immature kind of energy here. So because it came out with the Two of Chalices, this makes me think that there might be conversations that you're trying to deepen your relationship or heal your relationship, but sometimes the emotions of either of you might be getting in the way. You know, it's again like not being able to handle the emotions or express the emotions properly. You know, you're learning to do that. You're learning not to get overly emotional or to take things too personally. You're learning that, you know, in expressing your emotions, it's sometimes a tricky dance. And sometimes we have to kind of calm and balance the self before we're talking about how we feel. And then the other person, as you know, one person's talking about how they feel, the other person doesn't, again, take it too personally or get reactive in a way to feel like they need to defend themselves. It's just about expressing how each of you feel. And, you know, because one person might feel or express something about how they feel, that's okay. It doesn't mean that that's the other person's reality. You both might have different realities when it comes to what you're feeling emotionally, but we have to honor each other's feelings. We have to honor each other's process. That's what's going to get this relationship to go into a deeper level here. And again, if you're single, then this is about dealing with your own emotional bodies, your own feelings, your own emotions, dealing with healing some of that, allowing some of that to surface, if you will, surface like this tidal wave, and then come out, come up and out. A lot of times we have to, you know, express the frustration or feel the sadness or depression. And it's just part of the process of healing whatever the emotional wounds are in the first place. And it's okay. It's totally okay. And you can see that this person, I'm trying to see the imagery here, looks like they're trying to actually, you know, swim within this wave. So here they're just kind of, and it's almost like they're surrendering to it. You know, if you look, they're not splashing around, they're not trying to paddle frantically. They're just kind of surrendering, letting the wave of emotion take them where it will. And again, if you're doing that with another person, speak about your feelings, but respect each other's feelings and don't get reactive. If you're just dealing with this on a personal level and healing your own, you know, personal emotional body, just surrender to it. Allow it to come up and out. Allow it to be what it is, and don't judge it within yourself. Don't judge it from the other either. And then the last card that came out, we have Major Arcana, number 13, Transition. Now this is like the death card in the traditional tarot, but based on what our cards have been, what the messages have been for this month, this is to me more of a metaphoric death and rebirth. It's more about a transitional energy, transitioning from the energy of January into February, which again, January was much different, more of a chaotic, unstable perhaps energy. I feel like this, with the Cups card that we have here, the 2 Cups card, actually three Cups cards that we have, it's, you know, it's still dealing with some emotions, but not as up and down as January was. So we're transitioning into a brand new energy. We're moving into this new portal of energy here. We're going through a death and rebirth based on the eclipses of December and then January 2020. We're moving through a transition of our own energy dynamics. And a lot of the transitions, again, career, life path, destiny path, money, finances, and relationships, which is the big things that we often deal with as souls here on the planet, right? Those are the biggest things that we deal with. So there's definitely an energy here where there's something being left behind. You can see that this soul is actually transitioning. Now, you know, this relates to the death card. Again, I may have already mentioned, but it doesn't necessarily mean literal death. It's just about a death and rebirth on a metaphoric or spiritual level, more so. So this person is transitioning out of one state of being and she's moving into another state of being, a higher state of being. And that's what this transition energy is all about for us in the month of February, as we're in Pisces with Mercury in Pisces, the sun being in Pisces. We're transitioning through this completion phase that will take us into March, about midway into March before we're totally done with the completion phase. But still in all, we're going through this transitory time to where old past life wounds and this life wounds and karmic patterns and challenges and subconscious thought processes that we may be operating under, we're going through some changes, as well as changes in our outer world. Some of this transition can be a transition of a job, transition of a career, transition of home. Maybe you're moving your family. Maybe you're moving yourself from one place to another. So there could be some transitory energies here. Just like I said, that number 6 that vibrates to the month of February on a universal month level deals with home, family, career, life path. Okay, so there's perhaps transitions within all of these aspects, including relationships that are going on for us in this month. Now let's go ahead and take a look at your special message card depending on your stone of choice. And I decided to use the romance angels because, again, there seemed to be a theme of dealing with relationship matters. There is the fact that there's Valentine's Day here in the United States, and as I said, other countries probably celebrate some form of Valentine's Day as well. So let's take a look at the message for, just giving this a quick shuffle, message for the people that chose the selenite heart. Okay, this one in the front almost fell out, so I'm going to turn that over. And it says, this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner that you seek. Okay, so those of you that are in a relationship, perhaps you've been questioning whether the relationship you're in is the relationship that you're meant to be in. Now, this to me is stating that you should stick it out a little bit longer, that perhaps it just needs a little bit of time, attention, work to heal certain aspects within both of you as individuals and to heal the relationship as a whole, that this person could be the one that you're meant to be with. Okay. Also, if you're not in a relationship yet, but maybe have met somebody, maybe recently or maybe in the past few weeks or months, this is saying that there's a potential that this person or someone that you've already met is the one that you're seeking, the one that you're meant to be with. Either way, I also feel like your relationship matters, whether you're single or in a relationship, are being divinely guided. We have angels up here, the romance angels. I feel like you're being led to solutions. You're being led to, appropriate steps to take or actions to take. You're being led as far as communication with one another. And I feel like also talking to those of you that may not be dealing with romantic relationship, this can also be as far as a business partnership or a business relationship. Just as it says at the bottom, you've already met the partner that you seek, and it says the romantic partner. But if you're also in a business relationship or seeking to start a new business or seeking to do a project, or maybe you've already initiated a project with somebody, this is also giving you confirmation that this person that you're thinking about or this person that you may have recently started something with could definitely be someone that is going to create a good chemistry with you, is a good sense of success and recognition with whatever project or career thing that you're operating with this person with. So just know that I feel like in this, they're even saying friendships, that there might be a friendship that also has recently come into your life. And again, not necessarily being of a romantic nature, maybe not a business nature, but maybe this is a significant soul in your life, a significant soulmate friendship relationship that is going to help you in some way, support you through something, guide you to something, teach you something. So just know that any new relationships that have come in on any particular level, that it seems like that relationship is something that is going to be important to you in this month of February and perhaps beyond February. All right, let's take a look at the message for those of you that chose the rose quartz heart. Rose quartz heart, people, this one's calling my attention here. Retreat. And it says, it's time to disconnect from the world. Now, this could just mean that January's been so crazy, hectic, busy, and chaotic for you that it's time to just kind of take a break. Maybe you need to go on a little weekend getaway. Maybe you need to just retreat out, excuse me, out in nature for the day. Maybe you need to even take longer than that and retreat. But this is saying that it's time to kind of pull back your energies. And again, we're in this completion sign of the zodiac. So pulling back one's energies, going within, doing some self-healing. Now, if this is about a relationship of some sort, then we're talking about, again, taking some time to retreat from that. It doesn't mean that you have to break it off or walk away from it necessarily, but it is saying that you need some time for yourself. Now, either the relationship needs time and you both need to retreat and do some healing work on the relationship together and really focus on that, or it can also be that you as an individual, or they as an individual, or both, need to kind of take some time and go within and retreat from the situation, from the circumstance. And whether it be for a day, or whether it be for a week, or whether it be for a month, there's this needing to kind of fall back a little bit. And it shows these two people walking out into nature. Nature is a really great way to kind of do some inner soul healing, or even healing for the relationship. You know, I'm picturing going out to a little log cabin in the woods together and just, you know, getting away from the devices of our world, the laptops and the phones. And if you can take time out from the job, you know, it's really time to kind of step back and retreat as a couple, or again as an individual, however you feel intuitively guided, to kind of do some self-healing, to reflect on your thoughts, to reflect on circumstances, to reflect on the next steps that you could possibly take on your path. Okay? All right. And then for those of you that chose the chrysocolla heart, let's give this a little shuffle here. And this one's calling my attention right here. Forgiving and learning. Okay? It says, as you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. So this is definitely about not carrying the past with you, whether it's within a relationship. If you're in a relationship and there's some past challenges that need to be healed, you know, it's time to forgive. It's time to let go. It's time to try to heal those. Now, sometimes that's easier said than done, and it may take some time. But we can, at the very least, if we see the other person is authentic, we can at the very least offer forgiveness, you know, give them love and forgiveness, and take the whole situation and circumstance as one of learning, just like it says, that we're learning something as souls from one another. So again, whether the relationship is a romantic relationship, a business relationship, a friendship or family relationship, we all sometimes have struggles. We all sometimes have challenges. We all have difficulties. We're mirroring things to one another. You know, usually our own fears and anxieties and insecurities within ourselves. We're mirroring that back and forth to all of our relationships. And so we're learning a lot from those significant others in our lives. And sometimes things come up because everybody has their own stuff, right? Every soul has their own soul challenges that they're going through. So remember that as we're projecting these things, these energies, these insecurities to one another, it's an opportunity to learn, to grow, to evolve as a soul, either on an individual level or within the relationship itself, or both. Okay, hopefully it's both. Hopefully we can move through that as a relationship and love one another and forgive one another. And even if it's a situation where that can't happen, where it's better to walk away from the circumstance or situation, to separate from the relationship, no matter what type of relationship it is, we can still love that person as a soul. We can still offer that forgiveness over time and space. We can still become aware of what it is that we learned from that particular relationship, what that person taught us. Did it give us confidence? Did it give us strength? Did it allow us to speak our truths? Did we learn how to set boundaries? Did we learn what we really wanted in life? You know, there's a lot of things that we as souls are learning from one another. And if we can take that and forgive the rest and let it go. Again, that Pisces energy is a time of completion. We don't want to carry that into the cycle of new beginnings when we get to later in March, when the sun moves into Aries and we have the beginning of the astrological new year. We want to be able to say that we've completed some of these lessons from the past, that we've let go and that we've healed and that we've learned and that we've forgiven, not just others, but remember, this is towards ourselves too, to forgive yourselves as well as others for whatever has transpired, whatever has gone on. And that is going to allow us to, again, evolve and grow as a soul, as we take the next step on our path and as we move forward. So I hope you've all liked this monthly angel card reading. Thank you so much for all of your love, support, your comments, for subscribing to the channel, sharing the information, sharing my videos, and for following me on Facebook under Colleen Lemma and Sacred Soul Empowerment. And again, remember to listen to the new podcast under Empowered Voices on YouTube and on Facebook. And I hope to see you again in next week's reading or next month's reading. Sending you lots of love and light and many angel blessings, everyone. Namaste.